Hi everybody, Adam Steele from Hot Pole Studios here, and let's start that again. Hi everybody, Adam Steele from Hot Pole Studios here, and in the last video we looked at Voxformer by Voxengo, an incredibly CPU efficient plugin that makes vocals sound great. In fact, you're hearing it right now. In this video we're going to talk about their drum equivalent, Drumformer. Before we crack on, this video is brought to you by Voxengo. They have sponsored this video, so I do really like these plugins, but bear that in mind. And I'm going to be showing you all the different facets of these different plugins. And also, if you want to check out our Patreon, that helps us to keep doing more stuff like this, and that's massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the like button if you find this at all useful, and share it with your friends. Tell everybody about us at Hot Pole Studios. I know it's a bit of a mouthful of a name, but it's what it is because we're named after the lovely building we are in. Anyway, on we go. So this is the track Walkout that I keep playing. Yeah, I'm going to get new music, but due to the lockdown, it's been a bit of a pain. I will be doing a live stream before you see this where I'll be retracking a whole drum kit, but by the by. Without Drumformer, and then I'll click the bypass button and turn it on. So that was on the whole drum bus, and I'm going to look at using this specifically on separate drums quickly and on the bus as well. There's a lot to go at here. There's a lot you can do. So let's take this off, take all the processing off, because I had some on the kick, snare and toms from Infinistrip. So let's just solo the drums. Well recorded drums, decent. Let's start with the overheads and add Drumformer on here and see what we get. So the first thing I'm going to do with the overheads is right click on this left EQ here, and it gives me a list, and I'm going to pick high pass 12 because that's going to cut all the low end out, and I'm going to press play and scoop that upwards until it's enough. There we go. So already the EQ's really powerful, but there's you can choose the octaves for each part of the EQ, exactly where the kilohertz range is, and exactly by how much by putting numbers in, which is really useful. There's a high shelf as well. Hopefully don't need it here, although I might lift the high a little. Solid sounding compressor, solid sounding overheads. So let's get these a little brighter and more in your face. Don't want to overly compress these, but the fact that I've got the option here is great. There's in the top right an option for a number of different bands, and I want to use 2 bands of compression on the overheads here. And I just want to lightly compress everything under the 1K range, so kind of the vocal range. And I want to probably be a little more stringent on the top end. So let's solo the bottom here. And hit the comp for compression. And so that's the main input, although you can have the detector for the compressor just be that band rather than the entire drum kit. And you can also externally add a side chain in. And I believe you can add different side chains for each band of the compression, which really starts to get a little bit clever. There we go. Now what I've done here is I've had quite a slow attack and release on this lower half of the overheads, because that means that we'll get some more of that da, da, da thing from the snare, so there's less work to do on the main snare itself. Now if I play that all together. And you can see it most of the time it's only taking a dB or two out. I'm also going to saturate that, and let's go with the popping and just drive that. Brilliant. And now let's do something very similar with the top. Cool, and let's saturate this one as well, but with a crisp saturation. Turns out that crisp saturation was just a little bit too distorting, and even before I unsoloed it, I knew that would just be too in the mix, so. Four times oversampling here, because the overheads have so much high end. It's very important to me that they have plenty of clarity. And now let's try with and without from about here. Cool, so the good sounding overheads suddenly sound much more focused. A bit more pop in the high end, more controlled. That low end mud has gone. Now let's look at the room mics. They're big and boomy. Now let's bring up a single band here, and what I'm gonna do is take out the ultra low end again, but not nearly as high up. Cool, and I really don't mind giving this a real hit in the low and some of the more 7K range to bring out a bit more smack. I'm going to turn this up oversampling wise as well. Right, so I can see that I've got 4 inputs going in here because I've sent in Reaper, I've sent the snare through to the room compression. So let's just see. Yeah, external trigger on the gate. Let's see if I can do that. Cool. I was hoping this gate would have a what do you call it? A level that it could go down to rather than a complete gate cut. Not seeing one. If I'm being silly, do let me know. Problem, because what I can do now is that side chain onto the gate has made the room go bang, bang, bang on the snare, which means that now if I compress that quite heavily to bring some of the lows back and saturate it, that should give me a nice thick room sound that goes wah, bang, wah, bang, wah, bang. So let's see if we can do that with this single band. Yeah, and let's saturate that with the popping drive. So this compared to the original drums. That aggressive. Let's try that in combination with the overheads that we did before. In this kick with another Drumformer. So it seems that with the 3 bands here, I didn't actually need any compression at all. Just used the saturation on the mid and the high bands. Used the clipper to make sure it keeps in level. The gate's just keeping a little bit of the low end. I'm just going to make it 2 times. It's keeping the low end, and I've just smoothed things around here. So there's a cut in the muddy region, a bit more ultra low end, and some more of that nice clicky high mid range without being too metal. Let's bring in the snare and see how that works. So it seems like the gate works really well. Having the option of, say, just compressing the mids on a snare to get more attack out the mids without making the top sound papery is really nice. And having the option of the separate saturation on the bands here is great. Toms, but change the gate to be 4 toms. Might need to do some EQ work here. Great. That saturation and the gate has just cleaned the toms up. Good for a first effort. I might use another plugin on the snare after Drumformer to really crush and get some more transient out of that. But that's a separate thing. So if I bring in the bass, that's considering I've just pulled that together in this time alone. I've not even got one on the drum group now. In fact, let's throw one on the drum group just because, and just give it a tiny bit of sheen. What are the presets like for creamy drums? Oh, 1-band drum compressor. Let's just add some of this to the drums. I could get that to sound absolutely fantastic. Now, that has been Drumformer by Voxengo. Let's just look at the price for this. Drumformer is usually $79.95, and right now there's 15% off and a flash discount. Apparently it's $60 right now. For what I've just done with that, that's taken me that amount of time, and that's a perpetual license, you own it forever. That's incredible. I absolutely would have bought this if I hadn't already. Yeah, I'm doing this video for Voxengo, so again, complete transparency. I'm doing this because, honestly, I'm being paid to do it. And so you can't completely take my word for it, but if you've liked what you've heard from this, go out and grab it, because from Voxengo.com, that's not even ridiculous. And if you spend more than a certain amount on their site, there's even bigger discounts and all that kind of stuff. So that must be what that discount was. Yeah, wow. There's lots going on. So check it out, Voxengo.com. Thanks for watching. like the Patreon and subscribe and all that good stuff. I'm Adam Steele for Hot Ball Studios, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Hey everyone, that might be the end of the video, but if you fancy carrying on this conversation, we have a Discord server, link is in the description. We're also on Patreon, which is something you can really help us with. We also are on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Hot Ball Studios. See you there.